We started the show last week like 3 or 4 minutes late. Everybody was panicking. I had so many messages after the show from people complaining. It was crazy.
People don't complain because you're a couple minutes late. I know better.
Nobody complains. It's like, what? They should have been on 2 minutes ago. We are live, folks. We have been live for about a minute and a minute.
Who downloaded all that on my phone?
I don't know. I don't know. I can neither confirm nor deny. How's everyone doing tonight? I don't feel like this is Thursday with the weekend coming up, with the Memorial Day weekend
weird.
coming up. I certainly don't feel like this is a Thursday. It feels like a Friday, doesn't it?
Yes, it has felt like Friday all day.
So I said to Nanette just like 2 minutes ago, should I change my fit for tonight, Pink Floyd? And she said, nobody looks at you. What are you, crazy? Nobody cares.
I did not say that. You keep shifting. It's not laying the right way.
Is it laying? You've got to have the full Pink Floyd out. Okay.
No,
So what is everybody doing this weekend? Memorial Day weekend. This is crazy. This is going to be fun. We have folks coming up from Indiana, and you just mentioned that your sister from Kenosha, Wisconsin's coming up.
Who's coming from Indiana?
Well,
You have company coming from Indiana you didn't tell me about?
well, Mike and Sue. They're close
They
to
live
Indiana.
in Wisconsin or in Illinois.
They live in Wisconsin? No.
She
They're-
works across the border.
Okay.
Okay, never mind.
So, what is everybody doing for Memorial Day? We have family coming in. We'll probably go to the Mission Impossible movie. We're going to go out to dinner at least one night to have fun.
I don't have to cook. I'm liking this plan. Keep going.
Yeah,
Keep going.
maybe I'll cook hamburgers.
No, you said we were going out to dinner.
Well, I can cook one
Because
of
if
the
you
nights.
cook, then I have to go and shop. So
Well, I can shop. And you know how I shop. I just buy everything because just in case you need it. Nobody's saying what they're doing for Memorial Day.
because you're babbling away.
I am babbling away.
Oh, I should probably come to the show.
Yeah, in mute.
Oh, this is the digestive system video from school today. That's not what we want. I gotta find.
Maybe it'll be more interesting than listening to me talk. We have wonderful guests in tonight. We have Jimi Baker and Ashley Baker from Baker Reptiles, and this is going to be fun. I'll talk about that later.
Okay, there's people telling you what they're doing this weekend.
I'm missing it.
You asked them.
Eating waffles.
Oh, Angie broke her big toe, so she's not doing a whole lot.
There's not much you can do with a broken toe. I've broken
that
mine
hurts.
2 or
And
3
the
times.
big toe's
and-
even worse than the little
yeah,
toes.
there's just nothing you can do.
Gecko Cove is building my boys a swing set.
Nice. One of those big wooden contraptions. That'll be fun.
Wolf Geist is working on crafts for the next show.
Oh, very nice. Very
We
nice.
don't have that day in Sweden. It says bitten by geckos. What does it mean?
You can still
now you
celebrate
can
it.
Explain it. Who wants to know what it is?
Memorial Day is a way for, I don't know about other countries. Obviously, I should know, but I don't. But it's a way for our country to remember those that have given so much in the services.
Line of duty.
In the line of duty. My father, I'll just mention just really quick, maybe a lot of people don't know this, but my father was in World War II. Shot in the leg, drove a food truck. He was there for D-Day. Interesting stories along the way, but it's just our way of remembering and cherishing the thoughts of our loved ones that have served our country. One last thing before we bring on our guests. What was the big thing that we did this week?
We did a lot of things this week.
We did do a lot of things.
Oh, we purchased a new to us vehicle.
Can you say that without you sound like you have stuff in your mouth?
A new to us vehicle.
A new to us
You
vehicle.
are terrible.
We Nanette's going to drive it, but we purchased for Supreme Gecko a new vehicle because our teeny tiny car is just filling up too much, and it really comes down to, should we take Crystal to the show or should we take display cases to the show? And we just came to the point where we had to buy something a little bit bigger. So we got a Acadia, a little bit of miles on it, but not too bad. Great condition. It was a real nice
Where did we get?
transaction. Acadia.
Acadia.
Yeah, I say Arcadia all the time. Like we're going to the Arcadia, like at a carnival. So that's big for us. We really, really needed another vehicle. We were down to one, and our Nanette's car broke down this week, and then we were down to nothing. So Christopher, our son, stepped up and lent us one of his cars, and it worked out really well. But we realized we just had to have a second vehicle. So
And then he found us a car.
and then we saw the car first, and then he went through the whole
sent me the
process.
picture of it, and then drove us by it. No, you didn't.
I did too.
No,
we drove right by it.
Yeah, because he drove us right by it when we were picking up his car. Yes.
So we have a nice
His wife
vehicle.
sent me
Big.
the picture.
It's like it's this big. It's so cool. I'm looking forward to doing our next show with that vehicle and just loading it up with animals. We're going to bring 480 animals to the show. Okay, maybe not that many. All right.
What are you drinking
Anybody
before you-
else with some good ideas, Nanette, for Memorial Day?
No.
Okay. Maybe we'll go out to, we were hoping to go out to a restaurant by a lake and just sit around and talk with our family. But since it's like 38 degrees outside during the day here in Wisconsin, I don't know if we're going to be doing that much, unfortunately. Let's bring on our guests. They've been patiently waiting behind the scenes.
Somebody
Jimi
said 480 animals as easy as when it's isopods.
Well, isopods, yeah, that's 2 cups. This is Jimi and Ashley Baker, the Bakers. How are you folks doing today?
Great. How are you?
We are doing good, really good. Nanette's doing good. She had to adjust me, so maybe now I'm doing okay.
Adjust. I clean up. Quit saying adjust.
Whatever you do, she's got to fix. I understand. Yeah.
And that could be the whole show of her fixing me. So thank you very much for joining us.
Take more
Of course.
than-
Thanks for having us.
We're going to take a lot longer than that.
This is way, way overdue, and it's 100% my apologies for not having you folks on before now. We've known each other in passing at reptile shows, and I'm going to come back to that in just a second. You guys have donated to the 12 Supreme Days of Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
So much. So much gratitude for that.
You're
You
welcome.
guys, I always see your displays at shows, at the reptile shows that we do together here in Wisconsin. And again, I think I said this a couple of shows before, but I never get out of the table and walk around and say hi. So that I apologize for as well.
Well, don't worry. We have the same problem. Once we start getting set up, it's the same thing.
It's so hard. You start getting focused, and then all of a sudden the show's over. And you haven't talked to anybody, right?
Yeah.
It's extremely hard. But again, thank you for your donations to the 12 Supreme Days of Christmas. And it's not us, it's you and everybody that participates. The donors and participants make the 12 Supreme Days of Christmas. So again, thank you very, very, very much.
You're welcome. And thank you again for having us. Yeah.
Yes.
Our pleasure. So I always like to start the show. I watch a lot of interviews on YouTube on reptile people, and they always start with, what's your collection? What are you getting in new? What animals do you want? Things like that. What's on your wish list? But I like to kind of start a show by getting a little bit more personal with people. And I'd love to hear your story. Not as far as the reptiles, but what do you do for a profession? Are you doing, the hobby or, the hobby as a business? Do you have separate jobs? Tell us about your families. Tell us about your interests. Tell us about your hobbies outside of the reptiles, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course.
So I do the reptile business in the Rattery 24/7. That's my all-the-time job.
Career.
Yep.
Your daily job.
Yep.
Your daily life.
It's owning a business, as you know, there's
Takes a
no
lot of
delays. There's just all time of the day working. So
Yep.
that's always a good and a bad some days, because some days you can get really stressed out. But it comes with
As
a good
they
stress
know.
afterwards, because you're taking care of all the customers.
Yes.
And then for my day job, I work through Humana. So basically, I'm on the phones, working at home, being able to kind of help Jimmy throughout the day if he needs it, but he's pretty independent. He's been very successful these past since 2020, right? Yeah, so 5 years, and it's just been going strong. And then of course when I get done with work and the kids get home from school, we help, we tag team things, we get the rodents cleaned. Like we had dedicated day to that. We dedicated day to cleaning all of the snakes, all of my geckos, as we have a new Caledonia collection that we're starting to branch off into. So yeah, it's fun. And tell them the reason why we actually started.
Well, we started for our son, Alex Xavier, who is now 11. Yep. And he, at first, when we first started everything, he was nonverbal autistic. So we wanted something that we could make and he could work at no matter what his capabilities were. Yes. And luckily, he has grown tremendous leaps and bounds through all the work with early autism and school and everything else. Just from all the work he's put in, you can barely tell now, which is awesome.
He's made a complete 180.
A big reason why we created what we did and try to back up whatever we do so that you'll have something in the future.
That's awesome.
Trying to build a great foundation for him.
That's an amazing story. I feel like since Nanette has started working, help me here, I'm struggling with words, with special needs kids, that I've learned way more than Nanette has during this time. From a standpoint of what, some of the triggers are in a good way, in a bad way, and especially in a good way of, it could be music. It could be, one child that you work with this year talks about the dog, Jordan's dog, our dog in the family all the time. But that's what, connects him, which is so cool. Has your son made the connection with nature and the animals? And
he used to be obsessed with just dinosaurs. Everything in his life was just dinosaurs
and animals. He went from that to any type of animal, and even still to this day, he studies animals. He loves animals. He honestly, not gonna lie, he used to be the child that was the distraction. He'd be running around. He'd be like Tarzan in class. And the teachers would just know that as long as you fed him, he's good. Just let him have food.
Get him some snacks and he'll be good. Yeah.
So, but now, I mean, he's reading, he's writing, he's able to do math. That's
awesome. That is awesome.
Like speaking. It's a 180. It's just taking the time and dedication and making sure. And that's why Jimmy really did this business, so that
we'd have time to be able to
with him 24/7, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, how much does he work with the animals? I say work, and I don't mean to say work. How much is his involvement?
I mean, it is work either way, however you want to put it. He gets games and stuff, and for his Nintendo Switch that he got for working with us and for us.
He helps us out.
So he helped with he'll run up and down the stairs with our rodent tubs and stuff. Whenever I empty him out, he'll help with bringing water pitchers and stuff to us. I mean, he can do pretty much everything now. He could do the business, and even at school, he ended up winning like a junior achievement award for starting a reptile business at school.
Yeah, he called it Alex Xavier Baker Reptiles.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It was great.
But he did good, and it was actually the only one, the teacher said it was the only one that actually made money. So somehow, right? Somehow it made money. Yeah.
Is that cool? That is such a cool story. It really is. You mentioned dinosaurs, you mentioned, nature and everything. Does he, this is going to stick in my mind until I ask it, but does he enjoy the Jurassic Park movies and stuff like that?
At repeat. Yeah.
Very much.
Yes.
He's gonna want to go see the new one that's coming out.
he's waiting.
Outstanding. Our kids got into the Jurassic Park movies from the early age, and now they're still watching them as well. That's so cool that all those connections are right there. And you guys, what a wonderful job and doing this to move him forward and bringing him, closer to the family and more involved in everything. That's really super cool.
Or he's usually at the shows and stuff with us, and he's spitting out
He's
whatever
right there.
knowledge he has to help at the table to try and
Yes.
keep people interested while we're taking care of customers or everything, or handing out
He's
stickers.
trying.
Yeah.
He's trying. He puts his best foot forward. I love it.
He
It
gets
just
so
brings
excited
a huge
about it,
smile
yeah.
to my face. We
Does-
actually had career day at school yesterday, and he got to come in for one of the sessions, and he was behind the table telling all of his friends, like, that's a gargoyle gecko, that's a crested gecko. We live at this address. Let your parents know if you want something to contact.
Just stop over. We have them there. Yeah.
It was awesome.
Is he, I'm going to talk more about some other things in just a second, but I'm fascinated by this. Are you finding that he's kind of going into a path? And I'll follow that up with a point. Our 3 boys, our youngest son had no interest at all with the reptiles. We tried a couple of shows and involvement downstairs, and there was nothing, no interest at all. Okay, no problem. Our middle son took to the inventory and all of the sundry kind of activities. Didn't want anything to do with talking to people, didn't want anything at all to do with the animals, but he loved that. Okay, this goes here and I'll set up the show this way. And my oldest son cared for the animals for a little bit, maybe 6 months or so, helped with the animals. And then he started going to shows, and he was all about sales. And for me, I just took the step back and let him take sales for as long as he, went to shows with us. Does your son have a little path maybe that he's following?
We want him to, and he tries. He tries his hardest, and we hope that he does. But on a day-to-day basis, because he's 11 years old, he's not even sure how he wants to tie his shoes. So it just depends. And he does get super interested when we're at the show. And he wants to get into it. He wants to be part of the sales. He wants to follow the information. Just other days, he could kind of care less.
Yeah, he's more into video games.
You know what I mean?
Right now.
Like other days, he just wants to come home and play video games for a couple hours after he gets his homework done and everything too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And truthfully, it's actually been helping him with his reading. So we haven't.
Yeah.
We watch
in a
what
good
he
and a
does,
bad way. Yeah.
but it's really helping with reading. Like, it's amazing. So I'm thankful.
That's awesome.
It is. It's awesome. It's whatever it takes, whatever kind of triggers and get your passion boiling, and that's what it takes. That's super cool. You two, how about hobbies? How about interests? What do you guys like to do outside of reptiles?
That's so hard to answer because we don't really have time.
There's not really too much
anything.
outside of reptiles, but we do.
Bags?
Yeah, we do cornhole on
We play
Thursday nights.
cornhole. So
Nice.
tonight after this, we're gonna go play some cornhole, and
Immediately
a
after
social
here, we're
league.
running there and playing there. And tonight is our last week of our 8-week tournament, and then
We have
next week
tournament
is
next
our
week.
full tournament week where we play everybody in the whole league.
yeah,
Oh, well, we were going to go like 4 hours here, so
Yeah, right.
if it takes
Go
us
4 hours, I'll
Yeah.
be tapping out.
no worries.
Then that'll be
Then
sleeping.
that will
She's
be
got to be up early, right? Yeah.
yes, exactly. It does.
Another hobby. We actually recently have been getting into our health and fitness.
Yep.
We've been working out.
Going to
trying
the gym nice and early in the morning.
5 in the morning. We've been hitting the gym. And it's sometimes 2-a-days in the evening with the kids. We'll go to the Y and do a little walking and swimming. And our son has piqued an interest in football. So Jimmy is super excited about that because he played football in high school and everything. So
Outstanding.
I start helping him with that to kind of be like a little side coach if he needs help. So.
And then we fish whenever we have a chance to. Whenever
I can't tell you, we didn't even ice fish this year.
No.
And on the Bay of Green Bay where we live, one of the best fisheries. And we didn't.
One of the best smallmouth fisheries around.
Yeah.
Really.
Gotta make time to go fishing, and reptiles and everything else kind of take up a little bit more right now.
A lot more dedication to that.
And there's, excuse me, there's always time, but it seems like in the first few years that you're building your business, it's 110% dedication, nose to the grindstone.
Yep.
What you just mentioned, the ability to stay home and focus on your family was one of the considerations with doing the business. Why reptiles? Why was it reptiles that made you decide to go into that?
Being a kid, because I was born in Panama City, Florida, so I grew up with reptiles everywhere, pretty much, and it was nice. I always wanted them. Never really had a chance to have too many as a kid. Just a couple here and there in high school, and then afterwards, when I was able to get my own, I bought them. Had geckos, had snake, everything else, and then once Alex kind of got to that point where he was really into dinosaurs and everything else, we were just finding things to do, and we got our first snake. And
you went to the store and bought the first snake, brought it home. I was definitely afraid of these things, Wally. I was like, get that out of the house right now. You need to return it, bring it back now. It's not happening. And it literally spiraled. It went from 2 ball pythons to 2 bearded dragons to leopard geckos to now blossomed into
everything. We have
a lot.
crested geckos, gargoyle geckos, lychees, ball pythons, hognose, rats, ASFs, mice, Brazilian rainbow boas, Colombian rainbow boas.
Quite a bit.
Bearded dragons, some other lizards that we have. Yeah.
Savannah. Yeah. So
all things we care for every day.
Is it when you started, did you start it for the purpose of making it into a business, or did you start collecting? Yeah.
It was just as pets.
Yeah.
And then went from there. And slowly but surely we just like this one, we like this one. We're like, oh, well, we see we can make this. Maybe we should do it on our own and see if we can make this cool baby. And then we really liked it. We really liked the whole experience. The kids loved it. They liked being part of the egg hatching and cutting experience. Everything. I mean, they loved all that. They still do, but they just choose not to be part of a lot of the videos and everything.
I think it's more or less because they started so young with it.
Amara
was like 5.
They're just accustomed to it.
Yeah, they're just accustomed. They walk in the house and their friends come over and they're like, oh my gosh, you have a zoo in your house. They're like, I'm just going to go in my room and chill.
Yeah, that's just, they're just there.
Chill in my room. Just come in when you're ready. So their friends love it.
Well, it's just like us. We can go in our cul-de-sac and look at Lambeau Field.
Yeah.
It's now a normal thing that you just see, where other people come from all over the U.S. or world just to come look at Lambeau Field.
Just to come kneel down and worship
the
ground.
Yeah. Nothing near that. But yeah.
I think you're right, though. I think that we just get accustomed to having our collections in our house, and we don't see over time that our collections are growing and growing and growing. It's kind of it is what it is.
and you care for them every day.
Yeah.
You pick up all the poo and
everything.
Yes,
That's just a constant battle.
So go ahead, Ashley.
I was just gonna say, but it's fun and we get enjoyment out of it. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it. It brings us peace.
You're talking about, Jimmy, you're talking about the whole egg cutting process and you're talking about genetics and morphs and everything. Is that, and I usually save this question for the end, but I've got to bring it up right now. Is that your hot spot? Is that this makes it all worthwhile when you can open up and see something different?
Yes.
Yeah.
My end of it is just the genetics. I love the whole genetics part. I built my collection the way I did on purpose, starting with just simple genetics and working up to certain ones that I wanted, built up even more recessives, adding more and more and more to the point where I can just work through each recessive with almost a lot of the incomplete dominant genes out there and still not ever be at the end of the list where I want to keep going.
Oh, who could be with how many there are now? Are you focused primary? You know, I've seen your animals.
Yeah.
But my understanding of snakes is about that much.
Yeah.
Are you focused mostly on ball pythons, or I know you mentioned other snakes in there, but is that your focus?
Yeah, that's our main focus is ball pythons and a lot of the genetics with them. Also some of the crested geckos and gargoyles and lychees now.
Yep.
We actually got our first eggs that are about 30
parthos.
days into incubation that are both parthos, but yeah.
Oh my.
They're incubating
And they're growing. So
they're growing,
yeah.
and we're just gonna let them go and see what happens.
Very interesting. Keep me
Yeah,
posted on that. That's exciting.
Yeah, we were not expecting eggs for like another 6 months to a year.
Yeah, especially because I didn't even
introduce a male.
No, I don't have a breeding male yet for her marijuana lychee. So it's real interesting. We'll just see what happens.
It's a miracle.
It's a very big learning process, especially for me. I love it.
I think it is for everybody that's just starting off. I mean, there is no, step 1, step 2, step 3 guidebook to make it all perfect. I think we all have to go through that whole process.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a feel. Give the viewers and myself a feel for, and I hate to do this because it's like, I'm asking you to brag, and it's probably hard for you to say this too, but give us a feel for the size of your collection. Just to give us that quantitative look at it.
Like total animal in
Are you talking like rodents and everything, or are you talking just reptiles?
Let's talk about rodents in just a bit.
Okay, so reptiles alone, and with geckos and everything, probably pushing 250 with snakes, or 300 or so. She's thinking, right around with geckos and snakes and everything. Yeah.
So
that's a full-time job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It is. When I get done with work for my 8-hour job, I do that, and it's dedication. That's all it is. Yep. You have to set time apart. You can't get stressed.
4:30 in the morning start time. It gets you going every day. It's discipline. I do it. It's just discipline.
After like 21 days, you create a routine. Your body just gets used to it.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It's been well over a month, and I still do not enjoy the 4:30 wake up, but it's worth it because when you're done with the gym and I'm done with my morning workout, I get home at like 6 o'clock, maybe earlier, and I can start the whole day. And I'm usually done 12:30, 1 o'clock, and I go through everything in the house without a problem.
Yeah, just take.
Is that every day? Is that pretty much the everyday routine?
Yes, without a problem.
Unless we are going somewhere to like pick up an animal, then we have to set time.
We'll make sure that we get everything well and above it done, and then when we get home, we'll check through everything. Or if we happen to walk by and we smell a nice treat that they leave us, we'll pick it up and, or go get our gloves on or whatever else and grab it and check a couple others, because if there's one, there's usually more.
Do you I don't know if like is the right word either. Do you appreciate the morning routine rather than doing this all in the afternoon or doing it at night?
Well, I do feedings more in the evening, so I have a stretched day. Because then usually throughout the day, I'll also be taking care of customers as well. I'll be meeting at like Petco, PetSmart for rodent orders or snakes or whatever else. And so that takes up part of the day through either getting their orders ready or meeting them and waiting or whatever it needs to be.
Okay. Information too. You have a lot of people that will call you and just ask
questions. Call for information, wanting geckos or wanting things that I may not have. So then I send it to other people in the community. Yeah.
Do you struggle? This is a loaded question. Do you struggle with your routine and then interruptions to your routine? Is that a struggle for you, or is that just an accepted part of the business?
It's an accepted part of the business. I'm used to it. Since the beginning, I'm just used to it. I get interrupted all the time. I'll get random phone calls from either some scammer wanting to connect with Google or whatever it is, and then whatever else trying to do. And then I'll have some good customers that'll call me and ask for information. And I might be on the phone with them for an hour because they're trying to set up a gecko or a ball python or whatever they need. And they're just starting, so they need all the information. And I try to not push them to the pet stores all in one setups. I try to tell them where they can get things maybe a little bit on the budget end to start, and then they can upgrade
like
from
Amazon,
there.
that
Yeah.
type of stuff, like refer them,
Yep.
send them.
Amazon or maybe to Marketplace, go to a reptile page, see if someone else is selling it instead of going to buy a brand new setup right away.
Who does that? Who does that? Is it you, Jimmy, that does like the customer support 100%, or 100%?
I
He
do all the
does
social
everything.
media. I do pictures. I do all that.
He is 110% the guy. So whenever you're contacting Jimi Baker Reptiles, a response, it's coming from Jimmy. I'm working. I have to dedicate myself 7 to 3:30 to Humana, and then after that, I try to step in and help him, but I'm not very tech savvy. He actually helps me when I have problems with my Humana job. I'm like, Jimmy, come fix this for me, like, please. So yeah, I'm not very good with that, but he does it all.
I do all the logos. I do everything.
Is that a challenge for you? And I'm speaking more for myself because I know it's a challenge for me, but just turning that hat different directions. Now you're the warehouse manager, and 10 minutes later you're the accountant, and then 10 minutes later you're customer support, and then 10 minutes later you're the purchasing agent.
Some days definitely get rough. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, it's not a chore. Like, it feels, at least I'm doing it for myself or for our family instead of some other person that's making the money and I'm making $10 an hour or $15 an hour, whatever it is. Now I get to be the boss
for
and
12 hours
do it all.
a day. He's done that, and he's like, I hate this. I will never do this again. So that's why another reason why you also
I used to run those big converting machines that would make your rolls into like baby wipes or whatever else. And tablecloths, whatever. I mean, I've done the warehouse and all that. I would prefer to do this 24/7 than have to go back and work for someone else like that.
So
I think there's a feeling that you get of accomplishment, and that you're moving yourself forward, yourself and your family forward, as opposed to, like you said, working on a line or sitting at a desk and doing, programming,
and there's
8,
nothing
10 hours a day
at all. It's just some people can do them, and some people do not like doing it. Yeah.
So that's that too. You like to be, not saying that like you're amazing. Like, I'm very proud of you for everything that you do, because
thank you. But
it's a lot. Wally, I'd be right there with you. I'd be like, oh my God, I want to rip my hair out. Like, I have 5 people talking to me right now, because he'll be pulled in 5 different conversations. We'll even be at Bigs, and I'm like, Jimmy, this is supposed to be our social time. We got to relax. You need to stop working, and he won't stop.
And I'm actually pretty good at bags too. Yeah.
He does. He'll be in a conversation while throwing cornhole. And I'm like,
Still winning somehow.
So,
it's the ADD mind. You just got to do multiple things. Yeah.
When I worked, I was able to do that. Now that I retired, I can't anymore. When the reptiles are done, and I try to stay focused on family for the most part. Maybe not. I don't know.
You do.
You're
You're very good at it.
I try my best.
You do.
But when I worked, it was 24/7. I was always on thinking about work and talking to somebody in Korea, that will weigh on you real quick. Unfortunately, we talked about all of these. Let's take the reptiles out for just a second.
Yeah,
we talked about all of these other talents, skills. Social media and customer support and all these others. What's your favorite and what's your least favorite? Yeah, this is a good question.
So I would say editing and just doing the whole YouTube thing for me was more of a drag on overall.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
waiting
like
for everything
that.
to upload, and then all of a sudden midway
long it
through
took.
it, oh, we lost it. Now we got to reload it all, and it's like at 3:30 in the morning. So it's like, oh no, I do not want to do this.
That was
And I've only done like 10 videos on YouTube, so that's why I just cut right to shorts. I can do shorts, and I can do all of them, like 10 of them in a day if I really wanted to. But most days I'm just too busy cleaning and doing other stuff, then I'm not really worried about picture time. So that's where some days where I have a little bit more downtime, you'll see I may have 3 posts in a day going out. It's
Nice.
just because I managed to do more, and I'm managed. Oh, these guys look really good today. Let's take a picture. Oh, these guys are posing really cool. Let's take a picture.
Is it all on your phone? Are you doing everything on your phone?
Everything, even my logos, my banners and everything I make for the shows, I pretty much do everything. Even my hats I create on Amazon, and I get them for like $10, $15. Yeah, Ashley, our shirts that we wear at the shows, all stuff like that. I just go on Amazon. I get the little small mom and pop shops that want some business and
Support them.
support them.
Nice, very nice. You mentioned, I'm going to ask you about your favorite thing, non-reptile specific related, but on your least favorite doing the YouTube videos. Speaking of, having something fail, the mealworm video that we just put out, I did a whole day. It was literally about 6 hours of filming and talking and script and everything. And then when I brought the recordings upstairs, and then it takes an hour for it to load to the computer. And the very first minute that I looked at it, it looks fuzzy. Maybe it will come into focus later. So I had about obviously 3.5 hours of cutting and everything to do, and it was all blurry because of a setting on the camera. So I had to go down the next day and redo the whole thing all over again. So talk about frustration, and tech can be very, very frustrating.
We've recorded a couple times where our mics weren't turned on, and we go through and we're looking at these videos, and we're like 3 little clips in. We're like, oh, that's awesome. We got to shoot all that over again.
Yeah,
Shoot it all over again.
And then we go turn it on and the batteries died. So that's where we went and bought our new wireless mics that we can just plug into the C ports, and they work really well.
Nice.
And so then as long as they're charged once a week, they're good.
Yeah, the thing is too, when you're shooting these YouTube videos, and you get the take, and it's amazing, and it only took you like 20 minutes.
Yes.
And then you go to look back at it, and you're like, oh, the camera wasn't even working right. And then it takes you like 4 or 5 hours. Our daughter had to keep filming one night. She kept yelling. She's like, "Can I just go to bed?" We're like, we're almost there. We're almost there. One more time.
I just want to be done.
Yeah. And our daughter is 13, correct?
Yes. No, she's
just
13.
one. I always manage to mess up the ages for some reason. Even though I've been there every day, I still mess up the ages. She is a drama student. She loves everything about it. She's in all the musicals and all that. So she likes that part behind the camera. Yes.
Interesting.
She doesn't like to be working the camera. So she was getting a little frustrated with us, but we made it work.
So what I hear is in maybe a year or two, the roles will be switching over.
Hopefully, a little
she
bit.
will be the face of Jimi Baker.
Maybe.
That's okay, because I try to avoid my face in everything as much as possible.
He puts us on there.
It's usually the kids or her or anybody else or the snakes.
We'll go places in Green Bay, and people will look at me, or the kids.
Like at the pet stores.
Yeah. And I don't really, I just kind of walk by. I say hi now. But in the beginning, I'm like, why are people staring at me, Jimmy? Why are people staring?
It's only the workers there.
Yeah. We know you guys. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not sure what that means. But okay.
That's got to make you feel good, because what you guys are doing is educating and showing and bringing passion to the hobby. And if you're doing that, and somebody recognizes you, it has to make you guys feel good. It has to.
It does.
That's why I want them to get the attention.
I mean, it
I
does,
don't want it.
but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to be as humble as possible and not really be out there. And half the time when we're in the store, I'm in sweats, so I don't really want people to recognize me. That's the problem. So, but it all works out.
We talked. Yeah, I should have turned my phone off. We talked about the fun things.
Yep.
Let's talk about what's your least favorite part of this whole thing.
He just told you it was the video.
No.
Or I'm sorry, what's your
favorite?
I'm sorry, what's your favorite? I switched my mind. Sorry.
Come to the show, Wally. Come to the show. That's what I tell the kids. Come to science.
Good. She's on the game. Don't worry, she'll keep you there.
Yes, exactly.
Somebody needs to.
Yeah. Everybody needs a little help sometimes.
Always.
We all do.
But my favorite part is probably just being in the community, helping a lot of other breeders in the area, especially ones that say like,
yeah,
I really don't talk to tribal exotics too much, but I know I send them a lot of people there because
they're constantly.
I don't do bearded dragons and Mimi's dragons as well. They get people that we send there just because we have no idea. I mean, we know how to care for them, but they're just not what we breed. We don't have any want, will, so we send them. Dab Exotics, it's a lot of our geckos just because they're right here in Abrams area and they run the show, so they get a lot of leopard gecko sent over to them. And
you guys too. We
try to send to bring anybody that is down in your area. We send
like
or at the shows.
Like same thing, yeah. Like if they're looking for like a crescent gecko or a leopard gecko, and because I know you guys do that as well. It just depends upon where you're located in
our area,
in our local area.
Exactly. And I think that's kind of the fun thing about what we're doing too, is that if we can't directly help somebody, we can, certainly send them to somebody that's good at what they're doing too.
Exactly.
JP is saying his least favorite is cleaning poop. And I've said this
for sure.
Is that for you guys?
Yeah. Well, it's a nonstop. You can clean, and 2 minutes later,
you're gonna have
you hear someone doing their job.
I have a snake rack right by my desk, and literally all throughout the day, I hear these ladies farting nonstop and laying piles. And
she's got a 30 female breeder rack right by her desk in the dining room. So yeah.
Our house. We only have a 3-bedroom duplex, so we have racks. Every single wall is full. I keep telling Jimmy no more. We have no more room.
Our warehouse moved into our dining room.
Right. Yeah. We have one dedicated bedroom just for the snakes in the and then the kids have their bedrooms. Our bedroom is in the basement so that we can make sure that the snakes are cared for.
Everything else is cared for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jimmy's babies, his little prize, which is fine. I don't mind. It's all worth it.
Did you have a feeling when this started that your family would be your family and the animals would never kind of intrude on that, or you just knew that it would happen?
Never would have thought this would have been like this.
No.
Never.
Not a clue.
From day one, if we would have see this happening right now, she would have probably been freaking out, crying, because she wouldn't even know what to do.
I was afraid of them. I told him to bring it back to the store, and he said I can't. So I had to learn to adjust. You could have brought it back.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so thankful. I'm very thankful.
And then the first time we got dubia roaches, our daughter was about to, I swear, was going to die. Like she was freaking out in the back seat, thought they were going to crawl all over her, even though they were in their separate enclosure and everything.
We had to go to Target. We had to literally stop by Target in Madison. And Jimmy, she was crying. I felt really bad. I'm like, Amari, they're not going to hurt you. Calm down. They're contained. So we had to go into Target and get this container and
Get a bigger
everything,
container to go over that
and
container.
put them inside that container
So
for
that
the
it
whole
was
ride
double
home.
sealed up. So just in case that ever decided to get out the first one, there was still another one locked up.
Oh, she was terrified. Now she's fine. She's used to them and everything. She's adjusted.
Yeah.
Granted, I mean, she was, I think, 9 or 10 at this time.
No, like 6 or 7. Yeah.
Okay, well, anyways, it was hilarious.
I struggled when I came in.
The dubious?
Yes, I didn't like it either.
Yeah,
No, they're no fun. They're roaches.
they're roaches.
I was running a home-based daycare in my basement, and he had the reptile room in there, and I was very scared that if the state came in, I was going to have issues.
Right. Right.
That was a problem.
Never happened. Yeah.
We
But
talk.
it didn't.
We talk about dubious, and I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. But the 2 stories that I can relate is a friend who normally you have a big dubia tub, one of those 120 quart tubs, and you screen off the top for ventilation. Well, his top with the hot glue let loose, so the top didn't come down. It came down partial and acted as a ladder. He said that he realized that there was a problem in the middle of the night when a dubia was crawling on his face, and when he turned on the light, the room was filled with them.
No.
Filled with them.
No.
So,
That would have been sell
right?
the house I'm out.
Well, I asked him, what did you do? He said, I moved.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, what did you do? He said, no, I moved.
Yeah.
He just,
They could deal with it.
gosh,
That in my
that's
house.
for
Yeah.
poor person. Oh, no.
My real quick story is, the big fruit fly deli cups. I had one
yeah.
half. I was weighing out the dubias, and I had one half filled with dubias, and I had to do something, so I went to put it on the table. I made it to the edge of the table, and as I'm turning to do that other thing, I can see out of the corner of my eye the cup just tilting. And now I'd already taken a step or two, and these were the little tiny
They were
babies,
You were harvesting.
and all
Everywhere.
flipping. And I built walls with things downstairs. I grabbed things and I tried to do the containment, and then it was pick up individually off the carpet. It was just
trying to sweep them up and just get as many as you can. Yeah.
What a nightmare. So dubious could be really, yes, they could be great for food items, but they can just be a pain in the butt.
Oh yeah.
So
I have one in a bearded dragon right now, terrarium, that when I move the water dish and change it out every couple days and that, it just bolts, and I'm like, oh my God, it scares me. He's looking at me. I'm standing on a stool trying to do this because we have it at the top of a rack. Yeah. So just picture it. And I'm sitting up there putting the water thing and then pouring the water in and then seeing this thing come hide back on. Oh, I mean, my hair stands up, Wally. I do not like these things.
is that about you with the snakes?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can imagine.
It'll never happen.
Does your daughter,
matter
will
what
your
Frank
daughter
says.
hold?
Oh yeah.
Dubious? Now she's
loves
okay.
it. Oh yeah.
She will not touch a dubia.
Oh, not the
roach.
dubias now, but she'll go grab
okay.
snakes. Yeah.
She'll
without a
But
problem.
snakes, no issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
snakes, geckos, everything like that, no issues at all. But bugs,
Yeah,
no good.
she'll come to the show and she'll help with handling the snakes and everything. She'll go out and kind of not pull people in, but just if people want to hold a snake, she's there. She's an extra set of hands for us.
Yeah.
Which is what Alex is kind of learning to do and help them.
Nice. It sounds like you guys are just wide open to letting them do that and kind of finding their place with the animals, and that's so cool.
No
we have a granddaughter who years ago, when I started with isopods, this has to be 5 or 6, 7 years ago, we brought in millipedes, and I opened the container for her to look at because she was kind of into the isopods and she would hold the isopods. And I opened the millipede container and I started talking about millipedes, and she just went right in, and it's crawling under, just like what's
As
so
most in the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she goes through the dubia bin looking for the albino dubias.
I feel like kids have less worries than adults.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
kids will just reach in there without a worry in the world. Doesn't matter what it is. But as we get older, the fear in there just creeps on
It
us.
starts to build
Yeah.
up.
I think you're absolutely right. Angie is saying that the logo sign behind you guys is amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is
We had
cool.
a customer
That is really cool.
of ours actually cut that with a
Yep,
CNC,
CNC
machine,
machine.
which was pretty awesome.
And then I just got some LEDs from Amazon and put it on there.
Back.
The power cord is right behind me. That's why I'm sitting where I'm at.
Perfect. Looks perfect. Angie, I thought of Angie a little earlier when we were talking about the YouTube and doing a flub or something, and you have to do the scene over. I did a YouTube years ago, and I had a button down shirt, and it wasn't until I started editing and probably 3/4 of the way that I realized that I had missed one button. So everything, and I thought nobody's going to see this. I'm talking reptiles, and you've got to really look at this. Well, I put it out, and within 2 minutes, Angie comes back and says, "Nice buttoning of your shirt there, dude." So,
Oh yeah,
She finds all that stuff.
she gets the good end
Find
of
the
that.
last one.
Yeah.
Did you find the one in the mealworm video?
what
Gotta
was
look
that?
at that again, Angie.
I don't
I'm not gonna
remember that.
tell her.
Christmas then.
Yeah.
She was one of the first
Yep.
ones that are in there. Yeah,
Watching.
yeah. She's getting all those little clues done before anybody else has it.
Yeah. She's
Yes.
trying.
Interesting. You mentioned that you have enclosures in every room.
Yeah.
Where do you go now? How do you expand? What's your plans? What are you guys thinking?
So we are in the works of building and getting
We're-
even larger.
So we're the goal is to be buying land and putting down a cement slab and
Yeah.
going from there.
Wow.
So that
So we'll have a breeder facility for rodents, geckos, all that stuff.
and-
Hopefully more like a barndominium though, so we can still do it all in one. So I don't.
Yeah,
I just don't like the
wanna
I don't like the
travel.
security of not having everything.
Not here with
Here?
us.
I'm so used to it being here all the time that having to travel half hour away is kind of
It's not
no
gonna
good.
happen.
Yeah.
But then we want to be big enough so that we can allow to have
School programs
school
and other
programs
things.
and other type of programs like what Alex was in with Wisconsin Early
Yep.
Autism Project. Let them be able to come in and just learn and
Yep.
get the experience. Try and start at such a young age where they don't already have that
Like we were talking, no
stereotypical
fear. Yeah.
fear of, oh, it's a reptile, don't touch it, like what I was like. Now
Yeah.
I'm like, give it to me, I'll hold it, I'll touch it. Except for a tarantula. Those I don't hold. I love
Still
working
working on
with
that.
them. I'm working up to the fear of that, but working on it in baby steps.
It's hard either way. If it's dubias that you're afraid of, or snakes or tarantulas, it's the same fear. And we know that it's not going to hurt us, but we can't get over that. One of my bucket list items was to hold a tarantula, which I've done twice now. But
Right.
I have a deathly fear of spiders, just incredibly. I right now, my hands, I can feel the palms of my hands getting sweaty from
Easiest way to
thinking
get
about
over
spiders.
that is holding the Goliath bird eater.
No, Jimmy, that's so
The
big.
big just monster.
No, oh my god.
Jimmy, I had a friend that convinced me to hold a tarantula the first time. He did pet show.
He did a birthday party for
birthday
Crystal.
party for Crystal, and he said, "Well, I'm going to have you to hold." And he didn't force me, and he not 1 second did it feel like forcing.
Yeah.
He said, "We'll get there. You and I, we'll sit down together and we'll do it." And he did. He brought out the biggest tarantula that he had, and in my mind, somehow, with him just gently talking to me and explaining and very slowly, and it took probably 10 minutes before I actually held it. Eventually, my mind was looking at this animal, was like, it's just another animal. It's not really a spider. And it slowly crawled in my hand, and it was nothing in my mind connected that with a spider. It eventually, and I apologize for everybody hearing this story again, but it eventually started walking off my hand, and naturally I want to make sure that, and it was like, this is just so natural. But I will say though, Ashley, that the second that he took it back, I peed my pants a little bit.
I had 911 on the dial ready to go.
Great.
But it did all come back. once it was gone out of my hand, the whole thing came back, but not as bad. Not as bad. So
Right.
And the second time you had no
Well,
choice.
good, at least you faced your
That's
fear.
good. That's baby
What's that?
steps for me.
At least you faced your
Yes.
fear on that.
Yes. And I think the big thing for me was just doing it. Just here it is. Okay. Now you're holding it.
And the fact that there were a bunch of little girls at a birthday party that were holding everything.
Yeah. No
Although
fear
they
at all.
did not see you holding
Yeah.
it.
You
Don't
We
take
did-
your part away real quick. Yeah.
We made him all go away so he could do it without having an embarrassing situation happen.
But you're right. It is small steps and it's working
Yeah.
your way up to that. That's the key, I think.
I don't like centipedes, Frank. So it's just like a snake. No, stop it. He's trying to put legs on snakes.
Yep.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Snakes
For
are actually
sure,
more relaxing, I feel, but that's me because I work with snakes all the time. They're like a stress ball to me now. That's, I'll go in there and work with them, and next thing you know, it's like 3 hours later. I'm like, oh, well, that felt like 20 minutes, but okay.
Yeah.
At least I know what I was doing all day.
You get that mindset of just kind of relaxing and enjoying what you're doing. I absolutely have the same feeling, and I feel like I'm blessed with the ability to do what I'm doing.
Oh,
So,
by far, we are blessed by
Yeah.
to do what we do and
Yes.
have the collection that we have and have the support from my whole family around me. It helps a lot.
Yes.
talking about that, I look back and I loved my job. I absolutely positively loved it until the last year or so. And I should have kind of bounced a little bit earlier and retired a little bit earlier. What advice could you give to somebody that's going, well, I've got a job and it's okay, but I would love to work with animals full time. Give us a couple of pointers for people that are kind of playing with that idea of jumping into reptiles or tarantulas or whatever it is as a full time.
Well, make sure you love them, because at the end of the day, if you don't love the animals, it's going to turn into a chore and it's going to be more of a job than what you're trying to leave.
Yeah.
If you don't have that love and 100% into it,
Excuse me.
are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, if you don't have that caring for your animals, at the end of the day, it's just going to be a headache. It's going to be something that you're not going to look forward to waking up in the morning for.
It's going to be work. It's going to be just like work. You're going to not love what you're doing.
Yeah, you're going to be looking at the alarm clock, hitting the snooze button, and
Not wanting to get up.
I can wake up and I can push it back another hour or a half hour, 20 minutes, whatever it is. And yeah, that you just lose it really fast if you're not
For sure.
into it. But if
Yes.
you have the love and the care and everything you want for the animals and you're just set into it, it's nothing. It's the best thing you can do in your day.
It's not even like
Yep.
work. You don't even realize that you're working. It's just you get enjoyment out of it.
Yep.
That's honestly what it is.
Even the bad parts with how I may say I don't like the editing.
Yeah.
That's an easy problem to have.
Yep.
Yeah, and the only reason why I work is just for the family to have insurance, because insurance is so incredibly costly.
Yeah.
I mean, it for us as a business, like, oh my gosh, that might
Yeah,
just,
for 4 people, it's
so-
great insurance plan on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. but yeah, other than that, goal is hopefully for me to
Work
actually,
hard, expect to work really,
Yeah.
really hard day in, day out with no recognition for a while, and then just keep working some more.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're not going to get recognition. It's just that's what you have to do in any business. You have to work. You get a little bit of recognition, then you just keep working. You can't just let that little bit make you be okay with it. You got to
push for 1%.
push to
get
be better.
1% to
Yeah.
get better every day. That's the goal.
That is such a great point, because you're right. You're getting up every single day, maybe early like you guys, maybe not early, but every single day, because you really can't take a day off. You can, but you have to plan it.
In a decade.
Yeah.
We get day trips to like Garrick DeMeyer, we went to earlier today to go pick up a snake.
Yeah.
And we got to go to Wausau and then come back. And I mean, it was great to go talk with Garrick and just shoot the wind about just the business, getting to see a whole bunch of his reptiles and everything there. And then we drive back.
home.
Great view now because of all the greenery and everything. But
Finally.
that
Finally.
it's just of our vacations, pretty much. Day
Yeah.
trips to go pick up reptiles or go drop off reptiles or whatnot.
Yeah.
Nice.
we
Derek is such a great guy too. Oh my
Great.
God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ben, he's one of the OGs.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Here.
When he was doing Cresteds, I had the opportunity to go up and see him and kind of talk to him about his geckos.
Yep.
And great insight and just a wonderful, wonderful guy.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
I've got to get back to your point about, every single day they're getting up and you're just not getting that. Hey, Ashley. Hey, Jimmy. Hey, Wally. Hey, Nanette. Pat on the back. You did a great job. You didn't sell any animals. You didn't have any hatchlings. But you worked really hard and you got up early and you got things done. You don't have that. You really don't.
You gotta pat yourself on the back some days.
You do.
Yeah.
You really do. And that's why, like Jimmy
Keep going.
said, you just got to keep going. You got to keep putting one foot forward. If you're going to get into this hobby, you're not doing it for that type of satisfaction. If you need to have that, you're not going to make it.
Got to think of it as a marathon and like, not even just a marathon, like a triathlon.
Yeah.
No 100-yard sprint here. It's a triathlon. You got to be in it for the long game. And if you don't have a good plan and you don't plan for that, it'll wear you out really fast.
Very fast.
What an unbelievable point. And I'll share what keeps me going. The same
Me pushing you. No.
Yeah, Nanette hounding me. day in and day
Me
out.
getting up
Get
in the
down
morning.
there. You're not retired. You're still working down
I
there.
gotta get up.
Get
I'm
up.
leaving for work. Get out of bed.
Here's your coffee. Here you go. Yeah.
You're fine.
About 20 years ago, I went to
Kidding.
Tinley Park and somebody had a table full of knobtail geckos. And at that time, knobtails were, oh my gosh, they have a pair of knobtails, but they had a table full, probably about, it had to be 50 knobtails for sale. So I took a picture with my old Canon camera. I took a picture and I had it developed, and that's on the back of my door. So as I walk into the room, as I walk out, that's the last thing I see. So it reminds me of, maybe someday you can be at this place where you have all of these amazing animals. And you get a table like that, it's just so impressive. But you have to have something in the back of your mind that drives you every single day and keeps it's so corny, but keeps your eye on the prize.
Yeah, you
Yep.
do.
Got to have those little
100%.
goals to lead for the big goals.
Yes. Hatching something, a special, ball python morph, maybe,
Yep.
that might get you through this year.
Yep.
This year for me,
Even
it
just
was-
getting some to eat sometimes is even just a goal.
yeah,
Yeah.
that and gecko wise,
Yeah.
I wanted to make a frap this year, and we made
like
3
a
or
handful
4.
of fraps.
I
yeah.
was like, it was amazing. It was awesome.
Yes. Congratulations.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It's huge. Very huge.
Thank you for just like, I think it was our 2nd year with geckos. So yeah, we're just getting in brand new. So it's fun. It's
So-
very
At what point do the geckos kind of overtake the snakes and kind of push the snakes way back here?
Ashley's the geckos. I'm the snakes.
Yeah.
And
that,
feeders
that
and
I don't
everything
think
else.
that would ever
Yeah.
happen. I think that
Maybe
no,
50-50. But yeah.
He's got so many snakes. No.
Yeah.
Well, I am getting up there with that, but no.
If we keep
We're just
hatching,
gonna say no.
if we keep hatching the geckos the way they do, I mean, we continue, like, even on the off season, we have geckos continually
Coming
giving eggs.
nonstop, yeah.
We haven't had an off season yet from geckos. So even when we
Which is a blessing.
remove the males, trying to keep it so that we're not getting the extra
Yes.
eggs, they still keep coming.
Yeah, because
Good thing to have. Yeah.
it's fun.
It keeps it interesting to have something happening all the time.
Yeah.
Our good friend Jimmy Stoflug from Southwest Wisconsin Reptiles.
Plenty of
Um,
snakes from this guy too. Yep.
Yeah.
We
What's
love
that?
Jim. We have plenty of
Yes.
snakes from Jim. Yep.
Yes, he told me years ago, seeing me, we worked tables across from each other, and he'd meander over to our table at the end of the show and kind of look at the geckos. Jimmy, well, Wally, you've got all these geckos. When are you getting into snakes? Did you know I only have to feed my snakes once a month? How often do you have to feed your geckos? Is it daily? Wally, do you have to feed your geckos daily?
Just giving you crap for how much work you have to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right. It's part of the process.
It is. It is. We love what we love.
Exactly.
In what made you get into doing reptile shows? I mean, was that a natural progression? I want to kind of talk. What's that?
It was a natural progression. We ended up we had extremely great success with just our first leopard geckos that we bred. We only paired them one time and managed to produce over 250 eggs in that one single pairing between two females in a 2-year span. So it was every 2 weeks we would get two eggs. So
the perfect setup.
We had to have an outlet to start doing that, and that's right when Scaled Up had just, I think they were maybe their first year. It was right when they changed from their first Northwestern Reptile Expo or Northern Reptile Expo to Scaled Up. Scaled Up is when we first joined, and it was the Fond du Lac show, and we did great. We end up selling every gecko that we brought. If it didn't sell to a customer, the vendors came up and bought everything wholesale from us, with them. So that happened the first 3 shows. And then we've had great shows ever since. We just put everything right back into our shows. After the first good show, we went and bought acrylics at Tinley Park. Had them shipped in from Bend, Oregon. And I think it's
I can't remember.
Acrylic plastic displays, I think it is. The guy that made it for us, and we got them custom to what colors we were doing. And slowly but surely over the times of doing the shows, we've just added more and more to try and make our display look just a little bit better every time.
Your displays are so unique and noticeable. But I will say that as nice of a display as you make your table, your animals are glowing, just absolutely glowing.
Well, thank you.
Was that on purpose? And I ask this, I'll throw in my 2 cents. When I started to press the geckos, I saw the yellows and the orange, or the pinstripes. But when I saw my first red, my thought was that red will glow on the table and it will stop people. Was that your thought with the snakes by chance? Do you do some snakes specifically to have them on your table because they're so displayable?
Yes, we do actually. We do set up things certain ways in our displays. Like we will not set up things that, say if we have 2 bananas, we will not put them in the same even even display. We'll put it on the other side on a different one so that they're not next to each other. And if we have 3, we won't even put the third one out. We'll have that one underneath the table in a waiting to go up so that there doesn't show too many of one out there. And that's just in a way, it's a sales tactic because you're creating a supply and demand issue. If there's only 2, one goes, then it looks like there's only 1 left. And then they come grab that thinking that if there's nothing left, well, you actually have one underneath the table that you can bring up and sell again. It's just a good sales tactic.
It's a sales tactic, but it's not saying that you won't tell them, I do.
No, I do have another one. If they want, say they don't like, they want
like the 2,
say it's a pied and they want, maybe if they want 50% white instead of it being 90% white. If I have that behind the table, I'll definitely show them that as well.
So you you don't put all of your cookies out there on the table for
them
to
show all
see.
your cards.
I can't have all your cards there for them to view. You kind of have to have a little bit of a surprise so that if one goes, you put another one out there. That type
100% agree. I worked for Gander Mountain, if
Yep.
anybody knows what that store is, and it was interesting to see how they would set up their lures. If they had a fall clearance sale and they had a bazillion lures to sell for $1, they had these huge bins about as big as this table, but they wouldn't overflow it. They would take a handful and put in the table or in the big bin, so it would
Yep.
make it look like this thing's empty. There's only 5 left. I better grab all 5.
Yep.
And then the customer will go up and buy it. And then, the salesperson would just pull out from behind the counter and walk over and dump another 5 in the bin.
Yep.
It's crazy, how we think as consumers, but it does work if you're selling animals too. So
I just put I put my mind in the way how I would look when I went to the shows beforehand. And that's how I set everything up. How I would want to look at things, how I would buy things. If it didn't look a certain way, I would probably walk to the next table. So that's where we also talk to everybody that walks by.
Yes.
That I learned that working at festival way back in the day.
Customer service.
I worked in the meat department at festival, and you were told you have to say hi to every customer.
Mm-hmm.
Every customer. And if you don't, you're going to get in trouble because they'll watch you on camera and they'll bring you aside and give you training, which is a good thing because they want you to interact with every customer that's there. Mm-hmm. It definitely brings them in. And doing that, we definitely we have good shows. And if we don't directly have good shows in sales, we've talked to enough people that either they've touched their first reptile or they've interacted with reptiles for the very first time as a family or anything like that. So just having a good show doesn't mean just all directly sales. It's however many families we can teach to get into the hobby overall.
Yes.
What an amazing mindset. I think that's the key statement to this whole show is just, that passion and grabbing people with that passion. And it's only natural then for them to become more interested and stay and talk and ask questions.
Yep. And we love questions. And as we've talked before, I will, if I get a message at 2:00 in the morning, I won't answer it maybe at 2:00 because I'm sleeping, but at 4:30 on the way to the gym, in between making a post about going to the gym in the morning, I will answer those questions. So there is no time usually in between, or when I'm walking on the treadmill or whatever else, I'll be answering messages. So
you can wait and you can do it in the morning. You don't have to do it at 1 and 2 in the morning.
When I start going to the gym, that's when I'll start doing it at. How does that work for you?
Well, that's a lost cause.
Well,
I'll just keep blocking it out of my mind at 1 and 2 in the morning when you're talking to people.
Right, you're just texting away in the bed, just pounding away. Who are you talking to? Don't worry, she does the same thing.
Not anymore. Yeah. I already know what he's doing. I just turn.
I'll be like, here, do you want to answer him? Because I would like to go to sleep. So,
yeah. No, I don't. He's amazing with it.
That's a hard habit for me to break out of. For about 2 months, I put my phone away at 11 o'clock and didn't pick it up until
that?
I don't
21
know.
days you were in a routine and then it went right out the window.
I don't know. It was bad.
Same thing with me in the gym. Trust me, 21 days does not make a routine.
No, it does not.
I know. I've tried this.
It does not.
It doesn't work for me.
I
should just take your phone away from you and just say you can't have it at night and treat you like a teenager.
The only way you'll take my phone away from me is my cold, dark hand.
You got to put it in like a 3D printed lockbox where he's got to break 3 different puzzles to get into it. Guarantee by that second one, you'd be like, no, I'm good. You can just add, I'll get it in the morning.
That probably would work for a while. For 21 days.
I'll just
for
put
22 days.
On it and every time
that 23rd day, you're quitting.
I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done.
I did my 21 days. Yeah.
That's so good.
One thing that we didn't touch on, you guys, you are raising feeder rats.
Yes, we are.
Can you kind of talk through that process? What got you into start? And I know times on of essence right now because you have
You're
to.
good. Yeah, you're
But
good.
can you talk about? Thank you, Frank, for sharing that link.
Yeah.
Can you talk about what got you into that and how it's grown?
Yeah, so we started just to feed our own snakes because we were getting some feeders from a site online,
wherever,
whatever
doesn't
site
even
it was,
matter.
doesn't really matter. And we kept getting some non good ones, like they were just not things we'd want to feed, and we're like, well, we
That
must
or
be able to
think
do
we
this
bought
somehow
local.
with
That's
saving
what
some
I
money
think
and
that's
being
smart.
able to do it ourselves. So we started breeding rats slowly but surely, one rack at a time, just enough to feed our snakes. And then we started doing the shows and started adding more snakes. And then slowly talking to other customers and getting customers from the snakes that we were selling.
Yep.
And we offered them the rodents as well. So over that time, every show, we got more and more customers for rodents because every show we would sell more and more snakes. So then we decided we should make it a thing, and it
Blossom.
it's doing pretty good.
It has blossomed.
Like it's hard keeping everything in stock,
Yeah.
which is a good thing.
We actually don't post at all. It's more word of mouth right now because we're afraid that if we post, we're not going to be
We
able to
sell
fill. We're
everything.
going to
Yeah.
be sold out right away, and then we don't want to not be able to fill orders for customers
Or be in back orders or anything
have a
like
huge
that.
backlog. Yeah. So we do very decent with it.
It does
Yeah,
everything.
It goes to show that what you're doing is looking at your business.
Yep.
And your passion for the snakes, your passion for the crusted, I'm sorry, for the New Caledonians, for your geckos as well. But also you're kind of adding on to that from a need standpoint, but also from a need from the community. If I'm not mistaken, one of the big breeders left the community recently, right? Am I not mistaken?
Yes, down in if I'm not mistaken, Illinois, Indiana area.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a big void in the Petco, PetSmart, Pet Supply Plus area alone. A lot of them can't even get them in.
No. So we have a lot of those customers that are coming to us as well, which is perfectly fine because that's just a simple small order. But we do have other breeders that we supply to in the local area that have ball pythons, and so that we have to make sure we are constantly having enough production. So it's a science. It took years to figure out how to constantly be reproducing, how to get the big clutch sizes.
Yeah, you would think it would put one rat with another and you make a whole bunch of babies, but it doesn't always work that way.
It's not that easy.
Yeah.
I wish.
And consistently, like you were saying, Ashley, consistently, because with that, and you touched on this, but I want to make this point very, very, very clear to our viewers. With a business like that, it will not work if somebody needs the supply on a monthly basis, and they, let's say every 2 months, they come to you and say, hey, I need a bag of frozen. Sure, here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Oh, we don't have any this month. Well, what's that person going to do? They're going to look for they're going to outsource just like that. And that's business. I mean, they might be gone at that point.
They won't come back most of the time. Yep. Even if they have a cheaper prices or whatever else, they'll go to that person as long as they can continually supply it week in and week out.
Yep.
That's tough. How many racks are you running right now? If I may ask.
17 racks with 5 tubs and
with 6.
Yep, 2 with 6. So 60-ish, 70-ish tubs we have with each colony in there, and then we have the ASFs and the mice as well.
Yep.
Wow.
It is a lot.
It's a lot of work.
But that's where we make sure that when it comes to rodent cleaning day, all 4 of us, we tackle it out. We can get it done pretty quickly.
We get it done as a family in about less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
But that's not bad.
No,
that's not bad at all.
That's even running from the basement to upstairs
Yep.
and everything to wash the tubs in between. And so, I mean,
Carrying garbages out. That's cleaning afterwards, like
once we
sanitizing.
get into a
everything,
facility
and-
and everything, we'll be able to make it more
Oh, it'll be
streamlined
so
and
much
cut it by
more
like a half hour or
streamlined.
more. Yeah. Make
I
an
can't
hour job
wait.
instead of a 2-hour job. Yeah.
Do you have ideas in mind for improving the whole process? And
Yes. Once we have more room, yes.
I can't imagine. That's got to be fun. That's got to be fun to think through that process.
It is, but it's very
It's
stressful
kinda
trying to
scary.
make everything come to fruition.
Yeah, it's a little scary. It's a little stressful, but it is very fun. Once it's done and like once it's there and built, then it's gonna be so.
Or to just be like
rewarding.
we started our collection over. We start from like day one again.
Jimmy's gonna be
just
like,
add
I
more."
need more.
Yeah. I have certain animals I want to get, but I
Yes.
cannot because of the ordinances in the Schwabenon. And I stay with the
Oh.
ordinances beyond.
Yep.
Like we're allowed to have 8 feet for a snake in length. I stay 6 feet. So just in case they decided they want to change some ordinances and whatever else, I still have a little wiggle room if they want to narrow it down.
Mhm.
So and within numbers and everything else, I try to keep everything all within ordinances so that there's no reason there would ever be an issue.
I never even thought about that you have to
Yeah.
kind of fall into this, these rules and regulations. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have to follow whatever little township. I mean, from here, like in a Schwabenon is different than Green Bay
or West
De Pere
Pier.
and West De Pere or Bellevue or anything, any little township or any little city within the city. You know what I mean? Everybody's
You gotta
got their
look into
own
that.
separate rules.
That is another thing that we also like before we even sell an animal, we kind of
we will warn
ask
people
people
about-
like, where do you live? Do you know what your ordinances are? Have you looked into that? We also ask questions like, do you already have a setup for this animal? What's it coming home to? Like
just to make sure that the animal is going to be cared for.
Yeah, we're more like you guys. When you're at the show, you're asking all these questions. You want to make sure people have what they need. It's not more or less to scare the person or frighten them. It's just to make sure they're educated. They know how to care for the animal.
And it's not going to be you get a reptile in a box, you bring it home, and
no, you
you're
can't
done.
do that.
Yeah.
It's your baby. Like you literally made it. You want it to thrive and be with that person for years. You don't want them to take it
and that's
unfortunately
why
have it perish and be a bad experience.
That's why we have our guarantee as well with our reptiles. We are there for the life of the animal.
And
for any question, anything that it could be national for as long as they're there. And
we'll help
you need help.
Course.
We're there to answer anything you will ever want help. Any needs, anything. We're there to help. If you have a problem feeding, I'll give you every which trick I know how to do that I can get mine to feed. And how they were feeding before when they left. What they were doing, how I laid their feeder on their tub, whatever I did differently.
Step-by-step
that
process.
They may not. And I'll even send videos, pictures, whatever they need to help them.
We do the same thing. The last point that I make or question that I'll ask is you have our business card, right? If you have any problems at all, give us a call anytime.
Yep.
But on the other hand, we get a lot of questions about, I just got this crested gecko or leopard gecko or whatever gecko, and it's not eating. So I'll say, well, send me some pictures, but really what you should be doing. And I'm not trying to not answer your question, but really the very first person that you should contact about this is the breeder themselves, because to your point, they might have been doing, maybe they only fed crickets and not mealworms, and you're feeding mealworms, and the animal's like, what the heck is this?
I've never seen this before.
Or maybe they eat a certain crested gecko diet.
Maybe they only eat Pangea or Zoomet or whatever else.
Yeah, or
they
a
were
certain
only used to that.
flavoring. Those are those questions. So I've actually kind of thought about, because when I sell a gecko, of giving like a little sample packet of like the feed that I'm currently feeding them, so that they have it, they can go home with it and just say, hey, this
until
is what
the
you
time they
buy.
can either order it online or order it from you or order from Pangea, wherever they need
whoever they can get
that they
it from.
We've started the kind of side topic, but side note, but we've started because we sell a lot of really teeny tiny geckos, 2 inches,
Mhm.
2.5 inches. So
Little
what
baby.
we'll do is we'll order, 100,000 micro mealworms at a time. So we'll box up little cups, like 20 or 30 of those. So when somebody buys a small animal, it's not easy to find micro mealworms, and it usually takes 3 or 4 days to get them in. So we'll just give them a small, little cup to get them through a couple of weeks. Just whatever you can do to help that situation.
Yep. Anywhere you can guide them so that it's easier for that process.
Yep.
Yes. It's so interesting that you talk about the rules and regulations, and you have to be kind of in the knowledge. So we talked about the customer service hat, the accountant hat, the warehouse manager, inventory control. Now you're talking about a lawyer hat. Oh
Yep.
my gosh.
Oh, and I also do taxes as well.
Yeah,
So
he
yeah,
does.
I do all
It's
that.
quite a bit.
It's a lot. And I don't think people, for small to medium sized businesses like ours, I don't think people understand, your social media manager, all the way around, video control person. There's just so many little parts to what's going on. And I'm not complaining at all. I'm trying to say, there's a lot of moving parts all
It's
the
a good
time.
job to have and a good
Yeah.
thing to complain about. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We have a question here before I let you go. Anybody have questions, shoot them in. But Angie is asking, do you guys have a favorite animal in your collection? Good question.
What it is, what you made.
I do. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say there's just a favorite. I have a lot of favorites. I have a couple things that I've made last year, and then I also have an African import that I have that is possibly a new gene. So that's where my favorite lies in, is the genetics and kind of things that I can make new with. So I don't have just a specific favorite, but I love all of them in a main way.
You always sell one
I
that
mean,
you made.
I can show them real quick. I have snakes right here. So,
Yeah. You're being so diplomatic.
yeah, I'm trying to be not. So
Call my boss for me.
right. Oh yeah, right. I'm very good with that. Gotta try and be as politically correct as possible. So I like pieds. I mean, I just went and got a pied today from Garrick. So I mean, this is a clown
not the one
pied.
we got,
This
but
isn't the one I got today, but I mean, we definitely love pieds and double recessive pieds.
We got some scramblers.
Yeah, we got some scrambler pieds. I mean, we definitely love pieds and a lot of cool markings with pieds.
My 10-year anniversary was actually a piebald pit bull.
Yeah.
Oh my
She's all white, and then she's got a marrow patch on her right eye and her ear. Right, Jimmy? Is it the right side? Yeah.
Oh.
When we started, she was howling. She's downstairs, so luckily she quieted down.
I think that's the one thing that really stands out on your table, is just going through and seeing all the pieds, because they do stand out so much from other, we can talk about ball pythons all day and the different morphs. And for somebody that doesn't understand snakes and the different morphs, this morph looks exactly like this morph. And I would never, in these dozen morphs, I don't know which one's which, but a pied is a pied. I mean, that's so different.
Yeah, they stand out from everything. The high contrast from just the whatever color their saddles are to that bright, just dark. I don't even know what color white to call it, because it's brighter than rice. It's brighter than everything else. So it's just a bright neon white compared to the saddles that you'll get orange or brown or whatever else it is. So yeah, it's just that dark contrast. Yeah.
Huge. Ashley, did you say what your favorite animal is?
Gosh, probably my lychee, my Nuana lychee. I'm not going to take her out right now, because the last time I did, I weighed her after she laid her partho eggs. She hissed at me, and she kind of scared me a little bit. I'm not going to deny it. So I just kind of I'm letting her be. But yeah, it would be my lychee. Jimmy got me that recently as an anniversary gift for 14 years and together now. So yeah, it every year, I don't like diamonds. I'm not big into jewelry. I'm more into animals. So I have so many anniversary gifts in our house and birthday gifts. It's just amazing. Like
Yeah.
one year he got me
She gets to pick them out. So she just tells me what she wants, and
I tell him
Wow.
what and
I
he
pick
gets
out the
it.
good gifts. Yeah.
Yeah, he got me one year a really nice tricolor lily white. Like she's beautiful.
Yep, from Bomb Exotics. Yep.
Bomb
From where?
Exotics, and
Bomb Exotics.
they're like by Madison, southern Wisconsin.
Okay.
They do a lot on Palm Street with
Yep.
their geckos. They do sales kind of like what you do, which we're going to have to get into Palm Street now. But
Yeah.
I'll be contacting you about that. Asking
Seriously, if you guys ever if you want to hear the goods and the bads, you know, there's a couple of things that you want to watch out for. Not many, but
Right.
seriously, contact us and we'll sit down just like this.
For sure.
And talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, because we've been contemplating it, but just not sure of
we
really
haven't
where
really
to
had
start.
time.
Yeah.
That is finding the time for it, but
Well, we have
Yeah.
afternoons we can make it work. Yeah.
we'll figure it out. We got it.
We'll chat.
Exactly.
We'll
Yeah.
chat.
Get it working. Yeah.
Leave us with how people can find you. Frank, if you don't mind, share their link one more time for us. Frank does such a great job of sharing links.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
We are on Google.
Harassing people.
We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram, TikTok,
YouTube
YouTube a little bit, not so much anymore. But we are on everywhere else. Our slogan is, "If you can't find us, we died."
I usually don't say that, but
Just
yeah, that's
it's
true.
because
It's
everybody
true.
can contact me most of the time, unless
And
I'm
you
sleeping,
always respond.
and I'll respond.
It
Or
has
answer.
to be nowadays. You have to be on many of these different social media platforms. You just have to.
Mhm.
What's the best way for somebody to contact you? Is it Facebook?
Frank was having
Facebook,
some-
Google, because we're on Google and
Yep, on
everything's
Google.
linked right through there. So you just type in right into Google Jimi Baker Reptiles, and everything
pop
pops
up.
right up.
Perfect. I have a couple of links in the description of this video, this live. I don't think I have your YouTube though. Unfortunately, I'll add
Frank
it after
has
the
that
show.
out there. Frank just put that out
Okay.
there today.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll add that to the description of this so it helps people a little bit. What's
Yeah.
wrong?
I'm on my work computer because
Yeah.
mine was dead, and I go to their site and it's restricted by the school district.
Well, they've just blocked you from a lot of sites that you shouldn't be going to.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
Seriously.
should be looking at that. Yeah.
Yeah. You're-
And it'll flag it, and tomorrow someone will say
Exactly, yeah.
something. Yeah.
Are you gonna have a
Yeah.
meeting?
Now you
Yeah.
got
I'll be in a meeting tomorrow morning at 8:00.
we're just Nanette, we're
What do
just
you want
warning you this
on
time.
your computer? Yeah.
Oops.
Right.
Well, I want to thank you again for number one, the 12 Spring Days of Christmas. Number two, doing all that you're doing in the community, at reptile shows, especially hearing, the great stories of your customer support. Thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time tonight and joining us in our chat. You guys have a great life story and how you've developed your business, and you guys are doing great.
I want to meet your son.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
want to go over to a table and meet it. I never get to walk around either, but I want to come by and meet him.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
course.
he's
Cool.
don't worry, he'll keep you busy.
Next time we have a sit down,
Yeah.
we'll have him come out and
Yeah, he'll come out
If
and
he-
talk with us. Yeah.
we just
For
won't
a
tell
couple
him
minutes,
it's live.
yeah.
Because then he might.
Yep.
He's be
Other
looking
than-
like this.
Sweet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but his first time he got his school pictures, his eyes were so big. He's
He's
like,
just
oh
like,
Yeah. my God. It was great. It was great. It's
But
great.
thank you guys for everything
Thank
you guys do
you.
too, and thank you for putting on 12 Days of Christmas and Nanette and everything you do with
Yes.
Wally and keep him on track. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keeping him in line.
That's a full-time
I
job.
don't do that much.
You do.
Oh,
If people could see.
oh, I get it. Trust me, she helps me a lot too. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't do half as much.
I give him the drive
Yeah.
and the determination. It's more like, Jimmy, this has got to get done. I need you to do
It's
it.
more a foot in the butt than anything, but yeah.
That's kind of it a little bit sometimes.
That's a marriage. That's how it works. Yeah.
That's how
Right.
it works. It makes it
Right.
run. It really
That's how
does.
It works.
You're my calendar and my phone number person.
especially when you live and work with them 24/7.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
it has to be.
Yes.
not many people can do it.
No, not many people can do what Nanette does. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, right.
Thank you very much,
Not
folks.
that
Thank you
Thank
guys.
you guys.
pleasure.
Have fun.
You
Yeah.
too. Have
Good
fun
luck.
with cornhole.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Hopefully, we need it. It's our last weekend. Yeah.
Bye bye.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.